And our next speaker is Mr. Rob Robincheck. And if you don't know who Rob is, I highly recommend you go back and watch his message from the net meeting that he gave earlier this year. And Rob actually is one of the best in the business. He's been around for over 20 years. So get that, over 20 years. He's won more All-American scholarships as a student than anyone else in the history of the business. And Rob was #1 last year in business gift sales. So #1 in the company in business gift sales, almost $250,000 in business gift sales alone. And at the net meeting, Rob actually gave a message titled the Business Gift Build a Set Program 1.0. And in that message, he rolls out his Build a Set program that he does with his business gift clients and his business gift prospects. Obviously, words are a little bit hard for me today, no problem. But anyways, I'm very excited because here in today's message, Rob is going to be bringing us business Build a Set program 2.0. So if you want to level up your business gift game, if you want to learn how to organize and track clients on a Build a Set program, if you want to learn what types of gifts to do and when to do them along the way, to building up a set for people, getting the Build a Set or getting the gifts through the Build a Set program. If you want to know what the follow-up system looks like and how to build expectations for future orders, that's what Rob's going to be sharing with us today. And I highly recommend, whether you've watched his 1.0 message from the net meeting or not, if you have watched it, go back and watch it again. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it after you see Rob give this message. And a lot of what he talks about today, I'm sure, will make a lot more sense. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my good buddy in the business, Mr. Rob Robincheck, one of my original mentors. Rob, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Josh, for the intro. I really appreciate it. The goal of my Build a Set program message today is to take my talk at net and expand on how to use the handout, systemize the program over multiple years, and walk through an annual timeline of following up and keeping in touch with your business clients. The reason I love this program is that it builds from one year to the next, developing stronger relationships with your business customers that are looking forward to seeing you year after year, which creates a lasting, sustainable business. This program for me personally has gone from building it in 2018 with 78,000 in sales and 31 orders to implementing it in 2019 with 215,000 in sales with 79 orders to my goal of growing it to $480,000 this year, to fully embracing it in 2021, doing over 1 million and really blowing it up in 2022. In 2019, I was the #1 business gifting rep outside of my buddy John Rowland. But as I stated at net, I believe this program will create the first $2 million rep, and my goal is to be that rep. I also want to state that during these crazy times and what is becoming the new normal, I've found and have shared in my conversations with my business owners that most of them are increasing budget for employee appreciation and customer retention programs because those people are their most valuable assets and they need to be taking care of them the most. They're doubling down on gifting it to stand out and do the opposite of what other business owners are not doing. This idea originally, years ago, originated from my buddy John Rowland, who's the gifting king #1 rep in Cutco history. And what I want to do is honor John by perfecting it and sharing it with those that are serious about growing their business program. Think about your average order going from $500 to $1,000, which it may be today, all the way up to $3,000 to $6,000 and above. And having that residual income every year, in addition to guaranteed orders every year and customers looking forward to seeing you. That is what this program has done for me and is not slowing down. I want to read a testimonial real quick for one of my customers, and sharing and having a testimonial or reference will only add to the validity of the program and make promoting it that much easier. So my customer says, "Dear Rob, we just wanted to let you know we feel truly blessed to have gotten to know you and about your high quality and awesome knives. This is our second year with a Build a Set for our employees. We love it. And since the ordering is all done in July, it makes for a much more relaxing time. We would recommend anyone to start the Build a Set plan." As a reminder, I want to let everyone know that I built this program with just show leads, current database of residual customers that I sent emails to, letting them know I'm a business gifting consultant, and from referrals from business clients, not a single cold call. Industries that are good for this program are companies already gifting or ones open to high-end gifting and open to long-term relationships. Industries that are not a good fit are companies with high turnover and less than a $50 budget. Let's talk about promoting it. After you've established they own a company, have done high-end gifting for employees or clients, found out what specifically they have gifted, which is important to ask that question to find out what type of impact or lack of their previous gift had, and what their budget is. If I find out their budget is over $1,000 per employee or customer, then I will promote them to buying a set instead of this program. But if their budget is less than $1,000 per employee, then I'd rather build up to a bigger set over multiple years than sell anything less than a homemaker. The only other time I will sell a smaller set is for home builders or kitchen remodelers that put a set in every home or kitchen they build. Now, my opening line to introduce the program are really important. So it goes like this. What my clients tell me that their favorite program that we offer for businesses is our Build a Set program, because it creates a long-term partnership where we build the set together to take gifting from last minute or not impactful to a meaningful, lasting gift that employees or customers are looking forward to every year. Then we can focus on what you do best, which is continuing to make your business successful, and I can work with you to take care of your greatest and most valued assets. Then I let the business owner know that I will track and maintain all the items purchased from year to year, which eliminates the objection that need to remember what they've done. And when we meet next year, I will review what we did last year and bring ideas of what's next to discuss that fit within their budget. I also share the testimonial from a company that I work with that states his employee turnover has decreased since introducing Cutco products as part of his Christmas bonus. This testimonial, by the way, is featured on the volumes price list that everybody has access to. This way, I don't get the objection very often, what if my employee leaves halfway through? So now I show the new document just released at Net and is available to everyone on Vector Connect under Sales Tools, Business Gift Program, Other Topics, and then you'll see the Build a Set program. I then say, with this program, you have options on what set you want to build and for how long. Most of my customers tell me that they want to build up to the signature family set or the ultimate complete set because we get to create a longer gifting program and employees get all the knives they need, but we don't need to decide that right now. We just need to determine which items we want to start with. Based on your budget of X, and you would know the customer's budget at this point, I would suggest, and then you give a suggestion of what fits within that budget. If they have a $100 to $150 budget based on quantity, I lead them towards getting one of the introduction collections on the volume pricing sheet of our most popular items, such as a trimmer, a cheese knife, or super shears. I push them to get started on a two-piece set if their budget is $150 to $200, and a new deluxe gift box if possible. My go-to is the scissors with one of the 6 different knives it can come with, depending on quantity and discounting. But I stick to the volumes pricing and may bump up to the next level of discounting if needed. Keep in mind, it is less about the discount you give the customer, more about getting the items in that price point they are comfortable with. I love starting with those items that make the biggest impression for the employees to give the most positive feedback. Then at that point, the close I love using, since I already know what Cutco items they have or don't have personally, I say, since you are taking care of your employees or customers, I want to take care of you and your wife and include at no charge, and you mention what you want to do at that point as my way to say thank you. Does this program sound like something that makes sense for your business? Once we decide which items they are going to go with, I put an X next to those items we are starting with, put the year next to those items, and put the employees' names on the sheet if less than 20, and then give them a copy of the sheet. That way they have a copy of what we did and leaves them with ideas for the future. So let me show the sheet real quick here, just in case you haven't seen it, and walk through it. On the very front of the sheet, I put the company name in the top left-hand corner, this one specifically is Homes Fire and Safety Solutions, a company that I'm starting a build-a-set program this year with. Then on the back, like I mentioned, what I do is they started with the paring and trimmer, but they did it Santoku style. So I just put an S next to that. I put the year, so it's 2020 that we're getting the program started. I put in the middle the names of the employees, and I put the quantity of how many we got. This way, again, this is something that they have, that they know exactly what we did. Okay, so again, I walked through that. And one thing I also want to share on the bottom has the two-piece option I was telling you that most of my customers will start with, that falls within their budget. If they want to do a single piece, they can do scissors, something along those lines, and put a nice deluxe gift box. I'll mention again when the plating comes into play, and personalization on the block and how that plays out. The other thing that I'd like to share is a testimonial that if you don't have one personally of one of your customers that you can share a story, there is one on the Build-A-Set sheet, and I'll read it real quick. It says, "I have personally used Cutco products for many years, and I'm very pleased that I can share the experience with employees and customers of A&R Builders. We're helping them build a complete set of Cutco knives, several pieces at a time. It is a quality product that is truly unique." And this is actually a customer of mine that, again, I've done a lot of business, but again, a great way to share a very positive testimonial. Okay, so now just to note that the customer, that same customer can buy additional items outside of the kitchen knives that same year for a different function and do something extra on the employee or company anniversaries. They may also do a build-a-set in addition to another item just for the employee that I found. So to give you an example for this company specifically, they have a summer picnic. So they have a different function. So I'm doing a two-piece set with the turn and serve and the ice cream scoop for their summer function. And then during the Christmas season, holiday season, we're doing the build-a-set and continue to add that. And then what he did additionally as well is all his workforce is all guys. So we got a lockback knife that he's going to do in addition at the end of the year for the guys as well. So we got the family gift, and then now a gift specifically for the guys. So additional opportunities to keep in mind as you're doing the build-a-set. It's not just the pieces. You can, again, sell additional things that same year for different functions and different employee bases. From a tracking and systemizing standpoint, I take another copy of the Build-A-Set sheet, put an X next to what they got, put the year next to those items they got, employees' names on the sheet. If less than 20, I put them on the sheet and put their company name in the top of their sheet. I take a picture of that sheet, and when I get home, I put it in a master spreadsheet of all my Build-A-Set customers. So they get a sheet, I get a sheet. I take an extra picture of the sheet, so again, I can put into my database that I have created for all my Build-A-Set customers. Now, you can also put this in your CRM system. Fast Action has a great program with that, and tag this customer as a business client. If they have 20 or more employees, then I have them email me a list of all their employees, or just print out a sheet with all the employees' names on it so I can keep track of that. Just so you know, I typically do the block the second to last year and finish out the set the last year. At that time, I get the block, I get the plate that goes on the front of the block, personalized with the employee's name, with a message, something along the lines of, made especially for the Miller family, or whatever their family name is that I put on there. And they can even put, if they'd like to, their company logo at that point. Each individual knife does not need to be logoed. We want to make it special to the employee. And again, that's why the message, again, we can put a logo on the plate at that point. But that way, again, it just makes it that much more special for the employee. The beautiful thing about this program is that it is a way to gift to the entire family. So keep in mind, the reason for no prices on the sheet is because the customer is more concerned about sticking to his or her budget and not about the price. Also, as everyone is aware, our prices go up pretty much every other year. So I don't want to be stuck promising a price that now I have to discount more down the road. I create a file as client and put the build-a-set sheet in that file. Then when I meet with the customer the following year, I bring that sheet to our meeting with ideas of what I would suggest for that year that fits within their budget. This shows the business owner I'm keeping track of what they got, the years they got it, the employees we got it for, and what to look forward to the next year. The important thing to note is I finalize the meeting by mentioning to them that I will be touching base in April or May next year to schedule our annual meeting. That's the time that I find that it's most productive and that I can set them up for selling them during the summer. The last thing I want to cover is the annual timeline of follow-up and connecting throughout the year. You should touch base with the business client at least 3 times a year. I would suggest not counting a text or email as one of those connections. I would suggest either a phone call or face-to-face interaction. I tend to get the most of my Build-A-Set customers during the summer. The reason for this is to be the first option in gifting with their ideas and to have the business owner have one less thing to worry about throughout the year that I shared with my testimonial why they appreciate it so much. Lots of ways to overcome objections to that time frame, especially if they're giving the gifts at the end of the year, but that will be covered or talked about in my Build-A-Set 3.0 message. For this message, the important thing to note is touching base at least 3 times a year. So in the fall, I will touch base to make sure they got everything that they ordered, that the gift was wrapped properly and received on time. I always, if possible, do this in person, and at that time is when I ask for referrals, which I will dive deeper in my 3.0 talk. I will also deliver a thank you note at the same time. Now, at the end of January, I will send them an engraved piece of cut code that they don't personally own as my holiday gift to them, which is unexpected and planned randomness to get the best reaction of appreciation from them. A week later, I will do a follow-up call asking how the employees loved their gift, never asking them about the gift I sent them. 99% of the time they bring up the gift I gave them if they haven't already said something to me at this point. Lastly, I touch base end of spring in April or May to set up a time for our annual meeting. Since I've already prepped this meeting from last year, they're excited and looking forward to this meeting. It's a pretty simple setup. The Build-A-Set program goal is to be the biggest and best way to create and build long-term relationships with your customers with the highest residual of income. Thanks for your time.